Hidden in the canals of Xochimilco, near Mexico City, lies an island unlike any other, a place where natural beauty mixes with the sinister. This is the island of the dolls, a place that disturbs the mind and chills the soul. It's not a place to relax or sunbathe. It's a place to confront the unknown. Get ready to meet Don Julián Santana Barrera, the man who, haunted by tragedy, brought this nightmare to life. A story that begins with a tragedy and ends with a mystery. Don Julián Santana Barrera wasn't a man of many words. He was a man of action and silence. He lived a simple life, isolated from the world, in the canals of Xochimilco. His routine was quiet, almost monotonous, until the day tragedy found him. An event that would change his life forever. It was a day like any other. The sun was shining, the canal water flowed calmly. Suddenly, a scream. A sound that broke the peace of the place. A body floating in the water. A girl. A sight Don Julián would never forget. Don Julián ran to help, but it was too late. The girl was already dead, drowned. The tragedy marked him deeply, leaving a scar on his soul. The tragedy marked him deeply. He couldn't forget what had happened. That's when strange things started to happen. Don Julián felt a presence. Don Julián believed the girl's spirit was still there, trapped on the island. He began collecting dolls to appease the restless spirit. The beginning of Don Julián's obsession. The girl's death left Don Julián in pieces. Guilt consumed him. He couldn't forget her gaze, the feeling of helplessness. He felt responsible, as if he could have done something to prevent the tragedy. Each passing day, the pain and guilt only grew. Low voices, almost inaudible, coming from the reeds, the trees, the water itself. They seemed to call to him, whispering ancient secrets. Don Julián began to believe it was the girl's spirit, lost and confused, trying to communicate. He felt a constant presence. One night, Don Julián had a vivid dream. In the dream, the girl was crying, surrounded by shadows. The girl appeared to him, asking for a doll. Her voice was soft but full of sadness. The next day, he searched through the garbage and found an old faded doll. He knew he had to do it. He hung it on a tree near the spot where the girl had died. It was a gesture of redemption, an attempt to appease the restless spirit. From that moment on, Don Julián believed the island was haunted by the girl's spirit. He claimed to hear whispers, cries, and children's voices, even when he was completely alone. Frightened, he began collecting dolls from the trash and the river, placing them all over the island as a way to appease the girl's spirit. Over time, hundreds of dolls accumulated, many of them broken, eyeless, covered in dirt and moss, creating a bizarre and terrifying scene. But the strangest thing was yet to come. Years passed, and the island became a maze of dolls. Some faded in the sun, others were overtaken by mold. The dolls, once beloved toys, now seemed like silent sentinels of a dark secret. Their faces, once full of life, were now grotesque masks, frozen in expressions of silent horror. Each doll seemed to tell a story of sadness and mystery. Don Julián never stopped caring for his dolls. He talked to them, dressed them in old clothes, moved them around. To him, the dolls were more than objects. They were companions in his solitude. Then, on a fateful day, tragedy struck the island again. The sky seemed to foreshadow what was to come, with dark clouds and an unsettling silence. Don Julián was found dead in the same spot where he had found the girl years before. The coincidence was disturbing and raised many questions. Don Julián's death, as mysterious as the girl's, cast an even greater shadow over the island. The mystery only deepened, and the island continued to be a place of legends and hauntings. After Don Julián's death, the island of the dolls gained international fame. Curious onlookers and skeptics from all over the world traveled to Xochimilco to see Don Julián's disturbing legacy with their own eyes. Many visitors report feeling a strange presence on the island. Cameras and video recorders frequently malfunction on the island. Locals believe that their girl's spirit still haunts the place, using the dolls as her eyes and ears. The island of the dolls remains an enigma, a place where reality blends with fantasy, where the beautiful and the grotesque meet. Is the island really haunted by the spirit of the girl and Don Julián? Are the dolls receptacles of supernatural energies or just forgotten toys in a macabre place? Whether a paranormal phenomenon or just the result of human imagination, the island of the dolls remains one of the most macabre and enigmatic places in the world. And you? Would you dare to visit it at night? Leave your comment and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more scary stories like this. See you in the next mystery.